Hi, I'm Jeremy from Sparrowhawk 3D. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use my Cloth Deformer plugin for a practical simulation. I'll drape a sheet of cloth over a figure lying on a bed. I've set up a simple scene using a DAZ Genesis figure. Genesis models have a much lower polygon count and use render time subdivision. This means a proxy figure will not be needed to get a simulation result in a reasonable time. This figure will go through an animation sequence rather than remaining still. Fingers, toes, and other small features will not work well with the simulator. When collision object parts are much smaller than the cloth facets, they will poke through. To help my simulator, I'm going to put some primitive shapes around the toes and fingers, parent them to the bones, and then hide them. The actual size of the mesh facets is very important. I found it best to use a 1/2 to 1 inch size as my guide. I'm going to create a grid with 3/4 inch size squares. If the mesh density is too high and the facets very small, you will get a slow simulation and poor results. Now I'm ready to set up the simulation. Add the Cloth Deformer to the mesh. The simulation is going to run for 4 seconds, so it's very important to set that progress bar to be 100% at the end time. Next, I'm going to set the collision object list. When working with any boned figure, you must choose the actor. That's the part that contains the mesh. I'll want to drape over the mattress, which is a simple cube, and then add those shapes I put over the fingers and toes. I won't be adding the underwear to the list. The extra layer of conforming clothing will only confuse the simulator. By setting a higher surface offset, the cloth should drape clear over the underwear. The surface offset should normally be about 1/2 the average facet size. I'll turn on the cloth self-collisions and then adjust some of the other parameters. Lower the friction to have smooth cloth over smooth objects. Increase the gravity and lower the dampening to make the cloth fall faster. Reduce the crease resistance to allow the cloth to make smaller folds. I'll set the simulation to record with 15 steps and 150 frames per second. I recommend these values for figures that are moving at walking speed. Enable record mode, prime the recording, and then hit Run Simulation to start. This simulation took about 1 hour to complete on a 2.8 GHz Core i5 machine. Use my Subdivider plugin to get a big improvement in the end results. Make sure that you add this to the modifier list after the cloth. The subdivider will smooth out the folds while it adds more detail. I'm happy with the results and any of the still frames, but the animation isn't quite there yet. My simulator will ripple and twitch when the cloth tries to slide over a mesh. And that's the end of this tutorial. Thanks for watching.